As the Philadelphia 76ers look to conclude their season and wrap up this epic tank that they are finally succeeding at, players are beginning to declare for the NBA draft. College basketball season is coming to an end, and all eyes soon will be on the NBA draft and these prospects for our Philadelphia 76ers. Reminder that the Philadelphia 76ers need their pick to fall within the top six to keep it. If not, if they fall out of the top six, so 7 or below, then it will go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. As of today, recording this on March 26th, Philadelphia 76ers have the fifth worst odds, or the fifth worst record, in the NBA, so the fifth best odds at the number one overall pick, and the likelihood of them obtaining that pick and keeping that pick looks better by the day. Knock on wood that it comes to fruition, but if they do, this is a very good NBA draft class coming in and a lot of potential players, and with mock drafts beginning to come out, we will be talking about a projected player to the Sixers in this mock draft today. That player is Trey Johnson, freshman guard out of Texas. Trey Johnson, a bucket getter. A quick scouting report on him. He's a pure scorer. Had an up and down year at Texas. Only a freshman. He is a guy that needs to put on some weight, to say the least. But one of the best pure scorers. You can maybe even argue the best pure scorer in this draft class. How does he fit, though, with the Sixers? A bit of an interesting kind of scenario there. So as of right now, we see this. Sixers sitting at 23 and 47, picking number 6 overall. Johnson at 6'6", 190. As we know, the backcourt going forward going to be built around Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and it looks like Quentin Grimes has kind of solidified a spot if the Sixers are willing to match whatever his contract is on the free agent market, or if he just decides that he wants to come back to Philadelphia and play for the 76ers going forward. You see here Trey Johnson's comparison, Tyler Hero. I feel like the Sixers would ideally welcome a player like that, but the scouting report on him from this Bleacher Report article, Trey Johnson's final performance in the NCAA tournament painted a fairly accurate picture of the scouting report. He wowed with perimeter creation, footwork for separation rhythm, balance on his jumpers, and high-level shot-making skill form on and off the ball. He also settled at times and struggled to get himself easy buckets at the rim or free throws. He's too skilled, productive, and competitive for a 6'6", 19-year-old for teams to nitpick the weaknesses. Johnson will look like an easy fit and surefire scorer / shooter to plug in right away. He'll likely start to draw serious consideration closer to number 4 or number 5 based on the idea that it's difficult to reach a certain level of stardom relying so heavily on tough pull-ups or step backs without offering another layer of playmaking or impact defense. So when you kind of sum it up there in consideration, Trey Johnson, as of right now, he's a bit of a one-trick pony. He's a guy that is just kind of a shot maker and a scorer, but those guys don't fall off trees. Those are hard guys to come by, and as we say with the Sixers, a lot of talent right now with Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and ideally Quentin Grimes is back as well in the backcourt in that kind of shot-making scenario. Is Trey Johnson a fit? It remains to be seen. So the picks before Trey Johnson in this mock draft were Cooper Flagg number 1, Dylan Harper number 2, VJ Edgecombe number 3, Ace Bailey number 4, and at number 5, off the top of my head, sorry, I forget who the pick. Sorry, Derek Queen from Maryland, the big man at number 5. So when you get to that kind of scenario, the rest of the players on the board, for the Philadelphia 76ers there, as we said, with Flagg, Harper, Bailey, Edgecombe off the board, and then Derek Queen as well. You're looking at guys like Kasper Yakachonis from Illinois, Con Knipple from Duke, Kamen Malouch from Duke, Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. I think ideally the Sixers are looking for a wing. If they are able to obviously get into the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes, that would be a very welcome pick. Dylan Harper, I don't know how good of a fit he is on this current Sixers roster. Kasparis Yakachonis, I also don't know about him. Con Knipple, I think I would welcome him in more over a Trey Johnson guy. I think Trey Johnson is a higher ceiling player, has a better overall fit, or better overall potential future, but I think Con Knipple is a plug-and-play guy right away that you don't have to worry about what kind of shots he's getting. He's just a pure shooter that you're able to fit into the lineup. Ace Bailey is probably the ideal fit. Paul George obviously hasn't panned out. Or a guy like Derek Queen or Kamen Malouch for long-term help at the center position behind Joel Embiid, and even immediate ability to play right now. Derek Queen is a guy that hit the buzzer beater against Colorado State the other night. A really fun kind of like white man European game is kind of how his head coach, even Kevin Willard, describes it. Like he's not the fanciest, most athletic player, but he just has like a interesting way about him. Good skill set, It's a fun watch. He's a creative player, and then Malawach is a guy that just started playing basketball when he was 19 years old, and his ability to step out and shoot that he's been showing, but also rebound, defend at the rim. He looks like a promising kind of long-term center there. But to go back to Trey Johnson, that this mock draft had the 76ers picking, does he fit? Does fit even matter? If the Sixers are lucky enough, knock on wood, to get that top 6 pick, do you just take the flat-out best player on the board because you had such a bad season, you're in no position to say we have to draft for need? Who knows what the situation with Embiid is. Nick Nurse said today that they should know soonish, whatever that means. The Sixers still have not given a convincing timeline, injury, whatever you want to say, label to this Joel Embiid situation. Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, we would assume will be 100% going to next season. Paul George, are they able to get off his contract? Who knows as well. Quentin Grimes, who knows? Like, if Quentin Grimes wasn't in the picture right now, I would be all over this Trey Johnson pick. I think that would be a welcome addition because at his size, at 6'5", 6'6", interested to see what he measures in at the combine or at a pro day, whatever happens in that scenario. He's a bigger guard than Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. But right now, he just kind of offers the scoring ability. He doesn't offer much else. And you already have two guys that can really score the basketball. I think Nipple would probably be a better fit, the shooter out of Duke, or one of the big guys there in Malawach or Derek Queen, or then Ace Bailey as well, I think would be the ideal fit, obviously, if Cooper Flagg isn't available at the time. But to go into a little bit more about Trey Johnson and the potential, I'm not saying that I wouldn't like the pick, but I wouldn't actually be in love with it. He's a bit of a more polarizing player and a little bit up and down right now. But at the same time, this is a 19-year-old freshman. He was playing in the SEC, and he was drawing the bulk of the attention for this Texas team. You look at the game in the NCAA tournament in the first 4 against Xavier, 23 points. Tennessee the game before, 11. The game before that, 20. 19 against Vandy, but then 7 against Oklahoma, and he went 0 of 14 from the field, 0 of 10 from 2, 0 of 4 from 3. 7 of 7 from the line, and still showed the ability to get to the line and make his free throws, but a little bit of an up and down game right now, and he's not the most efficient player at times. He can have those. He didn't go over 14 in every game this season, or a lot of games this season, but a little bit of inefficient player at time. But the shot making is pure, and you see that. It pops off the page. 19.9 points per game, shot up roughly 40% from 3, 45% from 2. He's a very good, very talented player. Just does he fit with the Sixers, and can the Sixers afford to draft someone that doesn't fit right now? If you're trying to extend this Joel Embiid window, ideally, and make the most of this 6th overall pick, how good of a pick is Trey Johnson for you? And if you're not focus on maximizing that window anymore, if that's not your goal, if that's not your vision, maybe Trey Johnson is the pick, and we're just looking to build up the most talented team possible, and we'll figure it out later, whether Johnson has to go, whether Quentin Grimes has to go, whether Jared McCain has to go, whether Tyrese Maxey has to go. It could be a problem for a different day, but this is a problem for down the line. The Sixers still need to execute the rest of these last few games of this season and complete the tank, do their best job possible to get into that top 6 and have the highest probable odds that you can of keeping that number 1 to 6 overall draft pick. If Cooper Flagg and the Sixers fall to 1 and Cooper Flagg falls into their lap, maybe that was what we had to go through this terrible season for. But if we don't fall into that category, they're still a very, very talented group of players in this class. Even if they fall. They still have a second round pick. We'll touch on that at a later day as well. But this is a very talented group, and it's kind of like pick your poison as well with some of these guys. Like Igor Demin, a very talented playmaker, and he's a larger kind of wing type of guy, but he's a playmaker with kind of the ball in his hands. That would be an interesting fit. Jeremiah Fears is a pure scorer, probably a worse fit even than Trey Johnson. But then you got Asa Newell from Georgia, a guy that is a very talented kind of front court player that the Sixers might be lacking if they don't bring back a guy like Yabusele. This is a very talented draft class. But not many players that fit kind of the mold of what the Sixers team needs right now, which I think is scoring on the wing or kind of scoring at the 4. So it's going to be a very interesting process. They have to secure that pick, obviously, in the top 6 for this to even be a discussion. But over these next few weeks, we're going to start to identifying some of these prospects, and hopefully in just about a month or so, we're aware of what the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be able to do in the first round. But we'll be diving into a bunch of second round prospects as well as the Sixers do a second-round pick, and I think would be interested in probably even acquiring some more because they have a bunch of future ones, and it's a really, really talented draft class. But let me know what your thoughts are on Trey Johnson. Have you seen any of him at Texas? Would you welcome him to the Sixers? Do you care about drafting for fit? Let me know any of your thoughts in the comments below about the freshman out of Texas. As always, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. We're going to try and make it through the rest of the season together, but we'll be keeping it locked here on Sixers Digest, and we'll have a bunch more content coming forward for the draft, the offseason. This is going to be a huge offseason for the Philadelphia 76ers.